Come on in here. Hey, guys. Welcome to Mindset Monday podcast. This is the podcast where we do not hate Mondays, but we simply embrace them by setting ourselves up with the things that we need to live stress free, get our heads right for the week. You are in the place. My name is Rashia Nicole. For those listening, if you are just now joining or it's your first time, welcome. Mindset Monday, we are kicking it off in the part 2 of our series on Keep It Confident. So, last week we did part of our series on Mindset Monday, Keep It Confident, and we talked about being confident socially and being in those different social situations and how to be confident in those. This week, we are going to roll into financial planning and being financially confident. It's something that I cannot wait to talk about. It's a topic that I love to talk about, that I didn't love to talk about so much, but now we're in it. So that's what we'll be talking about tonight. Guys, welcome on in the room. It is Mindset Monday. For my people who are listening via the podcast, that means that you are catching this after a Monday, but that's okay. If you want to listen live, make sure you join me each and every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For my people who are watching me live, hey, this is an open forum, an open conversation. We are live on TikTok, we are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, as well as IG tonight. And each and every time we go live, those are our platforms where you can catch me. And then we'll be just having a good old conversation tonight about being confident in your finances, excuse me. So being confidently sound in your finances, I should say. So it's gonna be a good night. Thank you guys for everybody who checked in, like Rashia. TikTok. It is past 8 o'clock. Where are you? Um, Guys, you know I'm a wife and a mama first. So I had to get my family all situated and together. But I'm here. Y'all my family too, and we're here and we're talking um tonight. But before we go ahead and get started into our topic, I'll get all the house cleaning things out of the way. I have already told you guys where you can catch me. I am on Apple Podcasts now. So if you listen to podcasts on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you catch your podcast, you can catch the replay of this podcast. So make sure you share and tell people about it. So I'm excited about that. What else is going on in my life? April 20th, I am speaking at a seminar on self sabotage. I'm really excited to be partnering with Dr. Harmon here out of Atlanta. And we will be talking about self sabotage and ways to avoid it. She is a brilliant licensed professional counselor. She also is degreed in psychology. Very good person to get to know. I know this conference will be life changing. I'm very honored that she asked for me to speak and for me to be there and really pull in her audience. So I'm really excited for that project. So if you are here in Georgia and you want to go, please make sure you check out my website. Make sure you click on my link tree and you'll be able to get tickets to that event. It'll be great. And that's going to be on April 20th. So I can't wait to see you guys. Also, as usual, this podcast is sponsored by the Happy Confident Future Foundation. We are a nonprofit organization that works with at risk youth between the ages of 12 to 17. We work with youth that are at risk for unsuccessfully transitioning into adulthood due to low self esteem, lack of educational resources, and poverty. So what we do is we pour into that demographic, mainly in the city of Detroit area, but we're looking to branch outside of that. But that is who we dig into. That is the youth that we impact and that we pour into. I have always loved working with the teenage age group. People are like, Rashia, you are absolutely crazy for working with teenagers, but I absolutely love that age group because they have something to say. They have opinions. They have actually really good opinions. They just have a different way of expressing themselves. So that is what the Happy Confident Future Foundation is for. We provide mentorship to these young people, and we really do help them along the way. At that age, they're too young to do a lot of stuff. They're too old to do a lot of stuff. So they're really stuck right there in the middle. we help them through that hump. We help them through that transition. So this show is sponsored by the Happy Confident Future Foundation. If you want to donate to the Happy Confident Future Foundation or be a sponsor of the Mindset Monday podcast, please just drop me a DM and I will send you the information that you need. All right. So now we got all the important stuff out of the way. Let's dig into it. Guys, if you are watching me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, IG, TikTok, make sure you say hey to me because I may not be able to see when you come in the room. But if you drop a hey to me in the comments or hello, how you doing? Happy Monday in the comments. I know you're here. I know you're feeling good and I know you're rocking with me. Also, make sure you share. It's completely, absolutely 100% free to do that. And if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and shoot some hearts this way, guys. So that is what we're doing here. So, like I said, we got all that stuff out the way. Let's dig into it. Um, so I came up with the Keep It Confident series because I wanted to, and as you guys know or may not know, I am a licensed professional counselor in training. And one of the things that I have just learned just in that journey, as well as working with students, working with their families, some of the things that really, really plague us is our confidence. Confidence really will stop you from making important decisions. It will keep you in unfruitful situations, or it can catapult you to the next level. It all depends on where your confidence level is and how comfortable you are with yourself in that place in your life and how you deal with those different situations that come toward you. So, Mindset Monday is always about self love, self confidence, and how to get better. But I wanted to focus in on what's called our Keep It Confident series because I want to make sure I pinpoint certain subjects and certain areas in people's lives where they're just not feeling as confident as they could. So, with that, I came up with the four most talked about areas of confidence where people are lacking that I want to dig into. So last week I dug into social confidence. So when you're in different social situations, how confident are you? What are the things that you're doing? What are the things that you're saying? How are you talking to yourself? We kind of talked about those things last week. This week we'll talk about financial confidence and what that means. We'll kind of dig into poverty a little bit and what that means. We'll also be talking about physical confidence. Like, how do you feel about yourself physically? So we know how we feel about the inside. We started that on session number one. But how do we feel about our bodies physically, and how is that affecting the things that we do, the decisions that we make? How do our bodies affect us, right? And then the fourth one is scholastically. So whether you're in school or whether you're just working every day, how does your intellect affect your confidence or lack thereof? So those are some of the areas that people most complain about confidence. Like, you know what, Miss Rashia, hey, I'm not confident here. I'm not confident there. But one thing that I do know that is universal is finances. When you are not confident financially, man, that can throw everything off. So it makes me think about today. So story time, y'all. Today I was sitting here and I'm like, all right, what am I gonna cook for dinner? And I go through this every week, y'all, because I usually make up a list about what I'm gonna cook for dinner. Every day is planned out. So I'm not like a meal prepper where you go and you cook everything on Sunday and put it in the refrigerator. I can't do that because what if 3 days from now I don't want something that was cooked on Sunday? I just shout out to the people who can meal prep. That's just not me. That's not your girl. Um, but me, I'm a meal planner. So what I will do is plan out meals, maybe about 4 or 5 different meals for the week. And I will write them down and I will buy the ingredients for them. I'm basically my own HelloFresh. Okay. So whenever I'm ready to prepare those meals, I never know what I want. So maybe Tuesday I'll have fish. Maybe Wednesday I'll have chicken. Maybe I don't want chicken. I want beef, right? Everything is there. I just need to go and pull out the ingredients and cook them, right? That's me. I didn't do this. I did not do that this week, y'all. I had a very busy weekend. If you saw my Facebook and Instagram page, you can see I was with the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce. I had soccer and swim with Jackson. I went to see a play on Phyllis Hyman. Like, I did a lot of stuff this weekend, so I just didn't have the time. So what I did was, today I'm sitting there like, what do I feel like? What I'm gonna eat? So I just went back to childhood. Come with me, y'all. 3780 Richton. I'm there in Detroit. And I'm just like, oh, I would love some of my mom's turkey and noodles. Now, I don't know where y'all come from. And I don't know if that's just the thing that my mom fed us, but she would take turkey drumsticks and boil them and put them with some egg noodles. And it was a whole meal and some cornbread. And listen, talk about good chef's kiss. I didn't appreciate it back then. At this moment, at this 30-something-year-old self now, I appreciated it. Okay. So I'm like, that's what I want for dinner. That's what I'm going to make. So as I went to the store, I was buying all the stuff for it. And I started to think like, where did this meal really come from? Because I didn't want to bug my mom earlier to say, Mom, how did you make it? What's the recipe? I just didn't want to bug her. She don't care if I call her, but I just didn't want to bug her. But I'm looking and I'm searching and I'm like, where the hell is this recipe? Like, I just need the ins and outs. How to cook this? Could not find it anywhere. And then I started to think, where did a recipe like this come from? Is this something that was passed down from generations? Is this something that stemmed possibly from poverty? Maybe, possibly, right? Because if you think of something as simple as just turkey drumsticks, and some noodles, both of those were fairly cheap. They could feed a big family. And it did not take much effort. And cornbread, like that's something that you normally just have in your cabinet. So I'm like, wow, that really ties back into Mindset Monday today because when back in the day when people had to feed their family because they were in poverty. So you had to be creative with the meals that you fed your family, right? It was four of us. So it was actually technically five. So you have my mom, my sister, myself, my brothers. So she had to figure out how to feed all of us. Yeah, that's an easy meal to feed a big family. Yeah, that was probably more cost effective. And here I am, and I can afford to eat a more expensive meal, but I'm like, why not? Gotta do what I gotta do. I just want to eat it. So my mom's in the comments saying no, it was just good eating. I see that too, but I think it definitely boils down to finances because if you're going to cook something, you want to make sure that it's going to cover your big full family as well as be cost effective for your pockets too. So I think about that. I also think about just poverty and where it comes from and how deep it really truly runs. So when you are suffering from poverty or when you are a product of poverty or when you come out of it, guys, poverty affects the way that we do everything, not just in how we spend our money, but just even the basic decisions that we make from day to day. Um, Poverty plays a part in that. I had a conversation with my mother-in-law not too long ago, and she was like, this was probably maybe about a year ago. She wanted to buy Jackson some clothes. And I was just like, okay, mom. She's like, well, what size does he wear? And I'm like, well, he's a 4T. He was a 4T at the time. And so she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna buy 5 and 6T. And I'm just like, but he needs clothes now. He can't fit a 4T. And she's like, well, back in the day, that's what we did. So the kids can grow into the clothes. And I'm like, Mom, I said, that is another mindset that comes from poverty thinking. So now when Jackson can wear a size 4T, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy my son a size 4T. I'm not worried about what he's going to grow out of. Yeah, he's eventually going to grow out of the 5 and 62. We're going to have to buy clothes. But I'm not thinking of, oh, well, I need to buy a size up, size up, size up just so we can have clothes in the house. No, when it's time for my son to have the clothes that he needs, I'm going to go out and buy them. I'm not going to have to buy them baggy just for the sake of buying them baggy. No. So when I was talking to her, we had a conversation about how those different actions stem from poverty. They stem from poverty because think about it. Back when she was growing up and the different things that she went through, yeah, you have to buy clothes in a two sizes too big, because mama's not about to continue to buy clothes over and over and over and over and over again because you just simply can't afford it, right? But now here we are. She has enough money to buy that boy whatever size clothes he needs at whatever time he needs it. We have enough money to buy our son clothes, right? But again, that poverty mindset stuck with her because she's like, wait, we have to buy clothes up because that's what we did, and that's what my mama did, and that's what my mama's mamas did. But wait, if we pause and we just think about it, thank you for the likes, Linda. If we just think about where that thought process came from, like, why are we doing that? We're just doing it just because. Another example, I remember my pastor ages ago, he had gave an example about his somebody cooking like a shank or something, or some type of ham in the oven, and they always cut the butt off of it, right? And going on from generations to generations, you cut the butt off of this doggone ham shank and you put it in the oven and you cook it, right? And so one day somebody questions like, well, why are we cutting the back off? Like, I don't understand why the back got to get cut off. Is it because it's dirty? Is it because why are we doing this, right? And hi, Adrian. And it's just simply like, why are we cutting the back off? And so somebody went to grandma and great grandma, and they're like, well, why do we keep cutting the back off this meat? And they're like, oh, it's just because the oven wasn't big enough at the time. So that's why we were cutting it off. Doggone it, poverty. Hello. So we going on from generation to generation to next generation and next generation, cutting off the back of this meat, wasting it, all simply because somebody 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago just didn't have an oven big enough to cook it all. Say, huh? Do y'all know we literally got double ovens, y'all. We don't have to cut the back off of this meat, right? So this is what I'm saying, how poverty really can just continue through a bloodline, and we're just continuing on these traditions and we don't even know why. We're just doing them just because. Same thing goes into our finances. The exact same thing. So if you have somebody, and I'll just say this, if you're a person who struggles with finances, or you just look up and every time you look up, you're like, dang, I'm still paycheck to paycheck, or dang, I can't seem to get a hold of my money right, I need you to listen in on the rest of this podcast. If you have somebody that's around you, between the ages, I don't care if they're a teenager, I say listen in because I teach financial planning to teenagers all the time. But especially if you have a college student or someone of college age that is around you, pull them on in, or make sure you send them the link when it's done, because we're going to dig into it a little bit. So for some of you guys, you might say, oh, that's elementary. But listen, you don't know until you know. And sometimes the things that you think you know, they aren't right, right? Because again, depending on who taught it to you, that poverty mindset may be stuck in behind it and you don't realize it. I'll give you another just prime example before I dig in. I grew up with the mentality of, and I learned, this was learned behavior. Well, if it's a bill that needs to be paid, they just gonna have to get the money when I get the money. Like, I'm not, hey, I'll pay it when I pay it. If it ruins my credit, oh well. But if I ain't got it, I just ain't got it. And y'all gonna have to wait until we get it. So do whatever y'all gonna do. But whatever y'all gonna do is not gonna force me to pay this bill. So y'all just gonna get it when you get it. That's a very poor mentality to have about money. Again, it stems from a lack thereof. It stems from a poverty mindset. So when you understand money and you start to understand credit, you understand that thought process will ruin you financially to the point where you cannot move forward in that vein. You will literally screw yourself not only in the present day, but in the future and then your children's future, right? You are continuing this line of poverty that you don't even realize. So that is why I am kind of digging into this today. I've learned firsthand on what to and what to not do. I got a couple of my Clark Atlanta girls over here on TikTok. Hey girl. She's like, I'm scrolling through and I did not expect to see you on TikTok. I'm here. So yeah. Guys, we're gonna dig into it. So the first thing that I really want to talk about is budget. So I currently have someone on my timeline who claims that they live life without a budget. And every time I hear it, it makes me cringe because I'm like, child, we can't do this. All right. So budget, right? So budgeting it can be scary, especially when you are not financially sound. When you don't have money, you're like, how am I budget? Zero. right? Like, if I don't have no money, how am I gonna budget it? Well, guess what? You gotta have something in your pocket. And if you have that something, I don't care if it's a dollar, it better have a assignment to it. All right. So the key to when it comes to budgeting is creating an assignment for your finances, guys. Every single penny needs an assignment, guys. It needs an assignment. And that basically means when you get that paycheck and you like, oh, I'm about to go this, do that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then I might go pay my bills. Like, whoa, 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 pause. We gotta make sure that our bills and our responsibilities are taken care of first. That's just law. All right. When you don't do that, you already know what happens. You're naturally in debt. You're trying to borrow from your friends, your mom, and everybody else just to try to make your ends meet. That's just not gonna work, guys. You got to have a budget. And really what that means is taking the time, sit down, and I want you to write out every single thing that you spend money on. Every single thing that you spend money on. And also, I'll say this disclaimer: I don't want nobody coming back suing me talking about some, oh, Miss Rashia told me to do this with my money. Listen, I am not a financial expert. I'm just telling you what works for me. And what has worked for me. And this is from one who came from having a horrible credit score to now an excellent one. So, guys, I'm just giving you what works for me. So don't be going up here talking about some, oh, I'm about to do all this because Rushy and Nicole told me to. Pause. Pause. Okay. Um, so that's that. But no, make sure you have a budget. Write down everything that you spend your money on, and then we need to figure out what's of importance. So one thing that I saw on TikTok that I think is super cool, and I ended up getting one for Christmas, is a financial planner, like a little budget planner. And I happen to have it sitting right here. So shout out to TikTok on that. But what it is, it helps you break down what your financial goals are, what you're saving for. So basically, I have a list of what my financial goals are, my strategy to get to my financial goal. There's a whole map, not a map, excuse me. There's a whole calendar in here that tells me what to do. And then from there, I'm writing down all of my balances on what I have. So currently, I'll just be a little transparent. I think I have about 4 or 5 credit cards. I write down what the balances are on those credit cards, and I make sure I pay those balances in addition to paying your rent, paying your utilities, paying all of those things, making sure I have a plan to get them paid either on or well before their due dates, right? So that's the ideal thing. So the other part is, well, wait, how are we talking about paying all these bills when I don't have enough money to make ends meet? How can we do that when we don't have enough money to make ends meet? Um, One of two things needs to happen. The easier thing to do, and you know what, and I'm not even gonna say the easier thing because it may be easy for some people and not others, but an easy thing to do is find you another source of income. Just because we live in such a digital age, it's so easy to find jobs where you can work right from your computer. Is it going to take away time from you and the things that you like and your family and different things? Absolutely, it's going to take away from that. However, we got to get you out of a financial hole. So even if that means temporarily doing something to get your finances to a more comfortable place, I absolutely highly recommend doing that. A lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna go start my own business and that's going to get me financially to the next place. Let me stop you right there. Starting your own business is beautiful, right? But also starting your own business comes with a lot of work and it takes money to make money. So unless you're ready to go, like, I don't recommend someone who's already in the hole to immediately start their own business because you're literally still creating another bill for yourself in order to get ahead. You're creating another bill for yourself. Unless this is the most grand genius thing that you know is about to pop off, most businesses don't. Like not right away. Not right away. Not saying that your business won't be successful, but I'm just saying not right away. It takes some pouring into business to really start to see the fruits of that labor. So I don't recommend that, but I do recommend getting another source of income. The other thing that I recommend is downsizing. So if you are like, listen, Rashia Nicole, I do not have the time to pick up another job. I do not have the means to go and extend myself in another place. I got kids, I have a husband. I just cannot do that right now. That's okay. It's time to start downsizing. So those different things that you aren't using, sell them, donate them, make way. Just get them out your house, start to make way. Even if that means I need to downsize my living situation because I'm paying way too much in rent or way too much in mortgage. Consider that. Sometimes we have to take a step back in order to take a jump forward. So this is what I mean. Like we have to start downsizing and rolling back so you can start to live within your means. A lot of times we live outside of our means because we get jobs, we get promotions, or we just don't calculate stuff and we're in over our heads. And we just end up saying, all right, I want to spend this, I want to spend that. And then you next thing you know, you're surrounded in bills, you're surrounded in debt, right? You have to cut that stuff down. Sometimes again, you have to take a step back in order to take a leap forward. Okay. Guys, if you're enjoying this Mindset Monday, I see y'all over here on TikTok. Thank y'all for the love. I see you guys over here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube and IG. Hey y'all, hey friends. I see you guys over here. Make sure you drop me some hearts. Y'all are throwing them over here on TikTok. I love y'all for that. But yeah, make sure you show some hearts and make sure you share. But yes, so that is the advice on how to really start to budget. You have to increase increase your income, downsize your living situation. Usually that will help you get a hold of that budget. So then you can start paying off your bills. The other thing that I'll talk about is just credit a little bit too. My history with credit is interesting. I graduated and went to Michigan State University, go green. As soon as I stepped foot on campus, probably like the first week, they were lined up on Grand River. And I say they, I mean banks and different vendors and things. They were all lined up on Grand River, waiting on us students to walk by on our way to the bookstore to go out to eat lunch with our friends. And they were giving away 2-liter pop soda. Y'all, I'm from Detroit. It's pop. They were giving away 2-liter sodas, pops, if you signed up for a credit card. And I'm just like, me and my roommate were like, shoot, we don't have no money. Yeah, we want something to drink in our room tonight. So let's both get this credit card for a 2-liter. And we fell for it. We didn't know. I knew nothing about credit. I just gave y'all an example on how I was taught to pay bills. So I didn't know what I was getting myself into. All I knew was, you gonna give me a credit card? Okay. So they gave me a $1,500 credit card, and all they gave me was a 2-liter bottle of soda. So from that, of course, I ran that credit card up. No, I didn't have a doggone job. I had one in the cafeteria, but not enough to pay a credit card bill. And honestly, I didn't, and it's not even not enough to pay a credit card bill because it could have been paid, but I just didn't have the knowledge of how to responsibly care for a credit card. So I just ran it up. It was time to go to a party. We went down the street, we went to the mall, we shopped. Valentine's Day coming around, I'm buying gifts and stuff from my boyfriend, like all the things, y'all. I was running that credit card up, just didn't realize what it meant. So when I get a bill in the mail and all it says I owe after I done spent $500, $600, $700, all I owe is $25. That's it. That's what the bill says. All right, you got your $25. Right. And now I'm still spending until the card is completely maxed out. And I'm like, wait, what? I done paid the bill. Why is it maxed out? Like, I don't understand. So I was not raised with a good concept of money. I just was not given that. Again, that comes from growing up in poverty. I just didn't know. So with that, I learned that hard lesson on having credit card debt, purchasing a car before I was ready. And honestly, that again, that poverty mindset of, I know that I don't want to be here in this broke atmosphere. I don't want to be broke. So I'm going to do things that make me not look broke, even though I really am. Even if that means, okay, I'm about to go buy this car and I have no clue how I'm going to pay for it. They gave it to me, so I must can afford it, right? Or I'm going to get this credit card and I'm going to run it up at the mall with my friends because it makes me look good, right? I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but this is what I'm going to do, right? So these are the hard lessons that I had to learn very, very early on about money and credit. Eventually, all of those things came back to bite me. I had to eventually pay that credit card. It went to collections, all of that. The car that I got way too soon, I ended up voluntarily repossessing it. See, I'm thinking, oh, I got a car, I can just give it back. Absolutely not, y'all. That's called a voluntary repossession. Okay. It's still a repo. So then when you have a repo on your credit, guess what happens? Any car that you try to get there and after, you're going to get taxed when it comes to that interest rate, and they're going to make sure that you end up having a cosigner for it. So this is what happens when you just make mistakes. So I'm here just to kind of teach you guys and help you learn from the mistakes that I made. So when it comes to credit, here's a few things that I did learn about credit that I would love to share with you. If you guys are finding this helpful, please let me know in the comments, because I can just keep going on and on, but I just want to make sure that you guys are good with this information. A couple of things I learned about credit. Number one, if you have a credit card, thank you guys. If you have a credit card, make sure the credit card that you choose has benefits in it for you. Okay. The benefit is not being able to go in the store and swipe the credit card. No, we can do that anyway. We know that. Duh, that's a given, right? But the type of credit card that you get, does it give you cash back? Does it give you points? Does it give you points toward airline miles? Like, what is it doing for you other than letting you go into a store and pick something up and take it out? Even when they offer it to you and say, oh, if you sign up for this credit card today, we'll give you 30% off. Guys, I did a lot of shopping this weekend at Macy's because I was getting ready for the Gwinnett Women's Chamber Gala this weekend. And when I tell you, every register I went to, we'll give you 30% off. One dude was like, I'll give you 30% off just for trying. Baby, you ain't got to give me that for trying. I already know I'm going to get it. I just don't want it. Because when your interest rate is 29.9%, and if that bill isn't paid off in full, guess what? You're still paying for that 30% that you thought you got a discount on. Guys, listen, okay, real talk, Tiffany, them airline points are very much so clutch. But you have to make sure that the card actually benefits you. My girl Tiff over here on IG just said that you have credit, like if you have a credit card that racks up the airline miles, that's going to pay for your ticket. My family and I just went to Detroit to visit home in February, and neither one of us paid for our airline ticket because we just used our points that we have on our American Express. Duh. Like, make sure the card is going to work for you. Here's the other big thing, right? The really, really, really other big thing that I really want y'all to pay attention to. If you cannot, whatever purchase that you're making on your credit card, if you cannot turn around 5 minutes after you spend it on your credit card, if you can't turn around and pay that bill, don't spend it. Don't spend it, because it means you really don't have it. Use your credit card like it's a debit card. And when I say this, I mean, let's say you get a paycheck and your paycheck is $1,500, right? You go off, you need to buy your groceries, you need to go buy shoes for the kids, you need to go do some things, right? Use your credit card to do that. Once you have accumulated those bills, you turn around and you pay the credit card with the money that's in your bank account. So out of that $1,500 that you got, you take that money out and then you go and you pay that credit card bill. So what it does, it starts to establish payments on your credit, and that looks really, really good to the credit bureaus. As soon as you swipe that credit card, you turn around and you pay that thing. There is a myth that says that you need to have a running balance on your credit cards in order to have good credit. That's just simply not true. They want to see, are you responsible with the money that we give you? Can you pay that? Can you pay it off when we give it to you? And how often are you paying on this card? All right. That is what they want to see. Also, and this is game that I usually give for my paid classes, but I'm just giving this to you tonight. This is Mindset Monday, y'all. Let's do it. So what you do is this: when you get your credit card bill, you have a due date and you have a payment amount. I don't care what those are. Forget that. Take it, tear it up, throw it away, toss it. Remember, I told you when I was 18, I had that credit card and I spent all that money on it, but they told me my minimum balance that I had to pay was only $25. So I'm thinking, oh, I can spend that $25. You know, I can pay that. That's cool. No, if you pay your minimum payments, that's all. Only thing you're paying is interest at that point, and you're never, ever, ever going to chop away at that balance that you have that's due. So what you do is, forget whatever they say. No, we're not paying minimum balances over here. We about to pay that bad boy off, okay? Because whatever we're spending on that card, we're going to be able to pay for it right out of our bank accounts, okay? So do that. Also, the other thing is, I do not wait for the due date to pay the credit card bills. This has helped my credit tremendously. One of the things that I do, in addition to paying it off as soon as I swipe it, even if it is sitting there, let's say maybe a week, I go by my statement date. Usually your billing cycle comes every 30 days, 31 days, right? So let's say January 1 to January 30th, right? That's your billing cycle. But they say, that, oh, your bill's not due until February 14th. Well, wait a minute. What that's doing is giving them time to accumulate an interest charged on the money that you spent in the month of January. So what you do is if your billing date ends on the 31st, then you need to pay that bad boy by the 30th in full. So that way you're only paying the balance that you spent. And number two, you're not paying this company interest. I have not paid interest on a credit card in a good little while because I just don't believe in paying it when I don't have to. It's a win-win situation. I get the points that I need. I'm not paying you interest. My credit is boosted. It's a win-win situation. Pay by the end of your billing cycle. And where you're going to find your billing cycle. And what I noticed too is sometimes you have to look really good because they'll try to like sneak it in or hide it. I think on my Apple Card, they don't even have it on there. I just know to pay it because I've paid attention to when the bill drops. It drops on the first of the month, but I'm just like, hey, they'll try to kind of like hide it so you can't see it. So what you want to do, usually look in the top right-hand corner of your credit card bill. Top right-hand corner is going to tell you your statement date runs from X date to X date. All right. Just make sure you pay within those dates every single month and make sure that you pay it before the due date. Pay it in full. That will boost your credit. All right. So that is my spiel on credit cards. That's my spiel on finances. And then another thing that I want to kind of dig into is relationships too and marriages. I know a lot of us are cohabitating, we're married, and I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. Um, when it comes to finances and being a couple and having your finances, I'll say this. Everybody is going to do what works for their household, right? But if you're finding that even, between you and your spouse, you guys are still coming up short and something's still kind of off, listen up. All right. So a lot of us, especially in the African American community, are taught to girl, make sure you have a separate bank account from that man that you don't completely know about, that he don't know nothing about. Make sure you do that. Y'all, that definitely is a poverty mindset, but that also comes from a survival mindset too, of you don't ever want to be caught without anything. You don't want to be caught with your pants down in case, this guy don't do you right. You need to make a move and get up out of there. Woo, 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 woo. You want to make sure you're prepared. Listen, I'm gonna say my 2 cents on that, and you can take it or leave it. But I feel like this: if I'm in a marriage with somebody and I can't trust you financially, or if I feel like I need to have a bag packed behind your back, then I don't think I need to be in that marriage. That's just me. I ain't telling y'all to go leave y'all man. Thank you, Tiff. Like, I'm not trying to tell y'all to go leave that man. Y'all do what y'all want with y'all man. But I'm telling you, me, the way I feel in the way I feel about a relationship, I'm not about to be with you, baby. If I got to go do all that, if I got to go have a secret backpack or secret money and secret stashes and all that, this secrecy and all that, I'm not about to go through all that and still lay up with you at the end of the day. If I got to do that, baby, I don't trust you. And if I don't trust you, we don't need to be together. Hey, Angie. Hey, girl. I'm like, we just don't need to be together. And I'll let y'all sit with that, and y'all can do with that what y'all will. But I'm not doing it. Number two, it is very, very healthy for you guys to have a bank account that is conjoined together. It does a few different things. One, it forces you to sit and have those hard conversations that you have to have. When you are married or when you are cohabitating with someone, guys, you're pulling everything together. You have to have a conversation about money. Y'all literally share bodily fluids and you don't want to talk about finances? Huh? Please make it make sense, y'all. It's just something we got to talk about. You know what I'm saying? We have to have those conversations. So yeah, having that shared bank account makes you do that. I'll give you what Ro and I do every month, and you can, take it. And it has definitely worked with us, especially over the later years in our marriage. We have marriage meetings, and in our marriage meetings, we have to sit down and we do a budget and we do our financing together. So, all right, Ro, Here go the bills, Rashia, here go these bills. What are we covering? What are we doing? What does summer vacations look like? What does Christmas look like? Yeah, we've had a conversation about Christmas, guys, and it's March. Absolutely. We planning out throughout the whole year because like Christmas, it comes at the same time every year. It shouldn't be a surprise for us. Birthdays, anniversaries, all that stuff, summer vacations. We need to sit and have conversations about that. Two, it creates a healthy marital atmosphere because when you sit and you have those conversations and you do that type of life planning, that's a way that brings you together that like no other way can, right? You are really not only a marriage, you're creating that true partnership, right? You're creating that business partner that you have next to you, right? So it helps strengthen your relationship when you do those things together. Um, Full transparency, again, because I don't have a reason to lie about anything. We Rashad and I share several bank accounts together. Actually, we have multiple bank accounts that we share together, and we also have bank accounts that are separate, but they are not secret. So I do have a bank account that I've had since I was about 16 or 17 when I started working for the credit union, and for private reasons, not because I don't trust him, but because of private old financial reasons, I did not put him on that account because it would have been hurtful to me to do so. So, and he knows that, right? But if any given moment that man wants to see that account, here go my phone, baby, here, see it. So there's no secrets. And the same thing that goes on his side too. There's no secrets in the financial realm between us because like I said, if we're living together, we have a whole marriage, baby. And if I can't trust you with the finances, then that's a whole nother problem. But I highly, highly, highly recommend that you sit with your spouse and you have those marriage meetings and you talk about those different finances and how they affect you, how they make you feel. And even if it's not just sitting about and talking about financial planning, babe, let's talk about our financial history. How did you grow up? What did your mom or your dad teach you about finances? How do finances make you feel? Do you get nervous? Oh, for real? And not even like an intimidation, but let's just have a conversation. Not even like drilling them like, okay, so what your mama do? Oh, I knew it. I knew it, your mama. And then y'all into an argument because you talking about his mama, right? But no, it's just like a real conversation about how you two grew up and your feelings about money and just really having that important dialogue. Like I said, even if y'all not doing planning, just try starting out having a conversation about money and how you feel about it. Because when you get into a relationship with somebody and they just feel like, oh, I can spend it free willingly, but you're the saver, then y'all gonna bump heads, right? So that's a conversation that you have to have. Just start talking about those things, guys. It really, really, really makes a difference. Um, it has truly made the difference in our journey having those conversations about finances and having those conversations about marriage within their finances and kind of where those different ideals about money came from. I share with you guys my different childhood experiences and the different things that I've experienced in my life when it came to money. And I've had to have those same conversations with Roshad because he needed to know and I needed to know how he felt about money. It has been truly beneficial to have those conversations. So I'll say that. And it all leads to being more financially confident when you can sit and you can admit, like, this may be good, this may not be good. You can have those conversations confidently. A little bonus tonight, because I know I'm running on 45 minutes. I kind of want to talk to my young people. So on TikTok, I have a video that kind of went viral, and it was talking about advice to people between the ages of 18 to 25. And one of them that I talked about was financial planning. And I said, just because you're 18 or just because you're young does not mean that you need to have bad credit. It does not mean that you need to be broke. It is very much so possible to be fruitful. You just have to be smart with your money. And one of the questions that I continuously got was, how do I get out on my own? How do I move out on my own? And how do I get my first apartment and buy a car? Those were the two main questions that I got from that post. So I kind of want to speak to that a little bit. And like I said, if you are just now, even if you are starting over fresh, maybe you were in a relationship and you are stepping out on your own, this next part is definitely for you. So I'm going to give you just a couple of good tips for that. Number one, if you are freshly starting out on your own, you want to know, how do you get an apartment? How do you get a mortgage? Even maybe somebody wants to buy their own house. How do you do these things? Number one, making sure that you have a strong credit score is number one. And the things that I literally just talked about on paying those credit card bills off, that will bump your credit score up tremendously. Okay. Make sure you pay your bills. Make sure you pay your bills on time. And let me also tell y'all something. Stop co-signing for these people. I don't care what they say to you. Stop co-signing for these people. Stop. Stop it. Stop it. I don't care who they are. Stop co-signing for these people. Make sure your credit stays intact. All right. So that's number one. Number two, make sure you understand the value of money. All right. Like I said, every single dollar has an assignment and you have to understand the value that comes with that. Okay. And then number three, make sure you know everything that is involved in moving out and getting your own apartment and your own place. Guys, so it is more than just paying rent. You have to pay rent, you have to pay utilities, trash pickup, cable, internet, phone bill. These are all things that come out with being independent and on your own. So, as you do this, I need you to consider the cost for it. And if you cannot financially afford these things, it is okay. Just stay where you are until you can take that strong leap forward. It is very important for you to save so you can comfortably get to where you need to get to. All right. So that's my advice for that. And also when I talk about saving, I also mean to save you a few months, at least 6 months worth of finances. So if you do fall on hard times and you do lose your job and something does happen, you don't have to run back home or you don't have to go to sleep on your friend's couch because you don't have anywhere to go. So this is a big piece of advice, guys. Usually when you get these different apartments, mortgages and all that stuff too, you have to, well, apartments, you have to make usually 2 to 3 times what the rent is. They want to make sure that you can pay it. You have to have a clean background. So you don't necessarily want to go and, been evicted from this place and that place. It's going to be hard for you to get another place. So guys, make sure you have a clean record. Make sure you can actually afford the place that you are moving into. Another little bonus tip, a lot of people like to do roommates. I personally don't like to do the whole roommate situation. Me and my husband been married 12 years and he still do stuff to irk me. Okay. Um, and yeah, so I'm just not a roommate girl. I preferred to move out on my own, and my husband and I did not move in together until I knew he was about to drop a ring on it. That's just not me. However, it may work for some other people. So if you want to if you want to have a roommate or you have someone that you trust to move in with, then by all means, you can look into that too. But I highly recommend too, even when you have a roommate, make sure you can cover the whole bill still, please. Because these rental companies don't care that Susie didn't pay her part, but you paid yours. They don't care. They just want their full rent at the beginning of the month, each and every month. Okay. So that's just a piece of word of advice. You don't necessarily get to pay the rent whenever you want to. They want their rent on the 1st and no later than the 5th. Anytime after the 5th, guess what? Y'all gonna have a late fee. Let it roll up into the middle of the month. They're gonna start the court process to get y'all kicked out. I'm just being honest, right? So these are some things that come with having your own apartment that you want to make sure you pay attention to. It's a little different with mortgages, but we'll touch on that another day. So that's that. Make sure you can actually afford the apartment. That's my biggest piece of advice. Even if you're moving out and all you have is a futon. That's cool. I don't even care about that. I ain't judging you because sometimes you got to do what you got to do and you got to sleep on that futon until you can afford the couch or the bed or whatever you're getting. That's cool, but just make sure you pay to keep that roof over your head. That is the most important thing that you have to do. Okay. Part number two, people have asked me about buying cars. Listen, the car buying experience, because I literally just bought a car in November and I've purchased several cars in my lifetime, but like the car buying experience now, it's just frustrating just because cars are so freaking expensive nowadays. If you can save your coins to buy a car outright, I highly recommend that you do that. But if you absolutely cannot afford to do anything else, guys, make sure you take somebody with you. I highly recommend getting funded through your credit unions first because they're usually a lot more lenient as far as giving you a line of credit so you can get your cars. They're usually a lot nicer to you, especially even with the interest rate. They're usually better for you. So make sure you take somebody with you. Don't take the first offer thrown at you. You have to learn the art of negotiation when it comes to buying a car. You have to put your foot down on what you will and will not do. 9 times out of 10, they're not letting you walk out of there because they want the sale. They get paid off commission. So all the extras and stuff that they try to put on the car, y'all, learn the art of negotiation. I'll say that. So that's my bonus tip. for my people who are interested in like really trying to getting their feet wet. I do like a whole class on this. So if you're interested, you can check out my website, rashianicole.com. And on there, you will see a link where you can click on what's called the foundations course. And then the foundations course really teaches you those different foundations that you need to make sure that you're successful in your adult life. And it doesn't matter how old you are, anybody can really take that class. You'll see that it's designed for our younger people. But like I said, there are certain people that if you just don't know, you just don't know. And what better way to do than to start it? And it's a class and you can take it at your own pace and you'll be good to go. There's another course on my website as well. And that one is designed to really help you heal the inner child within you. We've talked a lot about, and we always kind of touch on a lot about those different childhood experiences and the different effects that they have on your life and how to push forward. So that's on my website too. So we can talk about that. And you can go ahead and get signed up for that too. So that's that. But like I said, there is nothing like being financially sound and financially confident. When you are financially confident, thank you so much, Angie. When you are financially confident, baby, you move different, you talk different, you walk different because you can and you should move different when you are financially sound and when you're financially confident. You should watch the company that you hang out with, because let me tell you something, when you are more financially sound and you hang around people who are not, again, poverty mindset has this way of sinking in and affecting the way that you do things. So someone who isn't financially aware and financially sound, they may look at something that you're doing like, why are you paying that bill like that? Or why are you doing that? Or well, since you got all the money you can pay. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So yeah, you want to make sure, again, you watch the circle that you hang around, that you make sure that you keep your money intact. Your credit is the one thing that you have to fall back on. You want to make sure you take care of that. Don't make all the mistakes and wait until it's too late. Take care of that now. And even if you are up in age, and even if you have made a ton of mistakes, it's not too late to get it together. It's not too late to straighten it out. It's really not. Um, Making sure you're financially sound is a numbers game. And once you learn that numbers game, you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. But you have to work on that confidence, and you have to work on that poverty mindset that may or may not have been set from your childhood and still lingers around you today, so you can start to get rid of some of those bad habits. You ever seen somebody who just buys something just because they're like, oh, I want to go shopping because it makes me feel better? Retail therapy is cool, but to a certain extent. So if it's something that they're constantly doing, or you see this person maybe possibly putting their wants before their needs, so you'd be willing to go out and buy $100 dress before taking care of the groceries at home, that's a problem. And that's probably something where we have to sit down with like a professional. So let's start to talk about why you feel that this is more important than, the basic needs of life, of food, shelter, water, right? We want to make sure that, we're taking care of those things. So this is all about being financially sound, guys. All of these things play into your confidence, your self-esteem, and how you move from a day to day. That's that. That's that. All right. So guys, this has been great. This is Mindset Monday. It has been a very, very, very good and fruitful conversation that I've had with you guys. Guys, I will also leave you with this. If you have any questions that maybe you just didn't want to ask, or anything about the story that I've told tonight, anything about credit or finances, or just some basic advice, make sure you go ahead and shoot me a message and I will respond to you the best that I can, or even give you different resources. Before I go to, I'll also give you a bonus tip to make sure you check those credit reports on freecreditreport.com. See what's actually on your credit so you can start to take care of those things. So if you don't know what's on your credit, go ahead and get a free credit report so you can see what's there and get everything mapped out. All right. So with that being said, I thank y'all for joining me. This is the Keep It Confident series. Next week, we will be talking about physical confidence and your actual physical health, and how that plays into your confidence. So that's what we're talking about next week. And I cannot wait to dive into that with you guys. So until next time, I will talk to you later, and I hope you guys have the most beautiful week. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.